Item �ＳCP-34 Object Class Safe Special Containment Procedures SCP-34 is to be kept in a secure room with access granted only to level for personnel. SCP-34 itself will be kept in a locked case that is under 24-hour surveillance. When not in lab conditions, SCP-34's protective sheath cannot be removed under any circumstances. Any personnel in contact with SCP-34 must be placed under a 24-hour observation period until their identities can be confirmed. Description: SCP-34 is a primitive knife constructed out of pure obsidian. Tests reveal that SCP-34 is approximately 1,000 years old. Despite its crude method of construction and age, SCP-34 is still incredibly sharp and requires no maintenance to retain its edge. Expert analysis hypothesizes that SCP-34 may be of South American origin, and that it may have been used in Native American rituals. Several accounts from Spanish conquistadors exploring the redacted region support this hypothesis, with detailed writings on how redacted priests would flay their victims alive with similar knives and wear their skin as a tribute to their gods. SCP-34 has the ability to allow its bearer to take on the appearance of another individual. If SCP-34 is used to cut a piece of flesh from a living individual, and that piece of flesh is placed against the skin of another individual, the second individual would take on not only the appearance, but all physical characteristics of the first individual. Testing has shown that the minimum amount of skin required can be as little as 1 square centimeter. However, testing has also revealed that the amount of time the transformation lasts is directly proportional to the amount of flesh used. The ratio of time the transformation lasts to flesh used has been measured at approximately 1 hour for every square centimeter used. Once the time limit has passed, the affected individual will revert to their original form. Analysis of SCP-34's ability shows that its method of mimicking another individual is nearly flawless. Not only does SCP-34 change its bearer's physical appearance, but their actual physical attributes as well, including height, weight, muscle mass, bone density, hair growth, eyesight, strength, physical medical conditions, and even DNA. The only physical traits that are not carried over in the transformation process are wounds caused by SCP-34 itself. Subjects still retain their original personality and memories while transformed. Even though the process is nearly instantaneous, taking only a few seconds, human test subjects have described the transformation process as extremely painful. Subjects also may suffer psychological trauma depending on the extent of their physical transformation. The side effects are especially serious if the subject takes on the appearance of a person with differing gender or with wildly different physical attributes. However, in order to function properly, the individuals who have their flesh cut off by SCP-34 must still be biologically alive to maintain the transformation. Should the individual whose identity has been stolen expire, the effect immediately wears off. Further details may be found in Lab Report 34A. Also, SCP-34 only appears to work on human subjects. Cross-species experiments with SCP-34 have resulted in data expunged. SCP-34 came into Foundation possession when an imposter disguised as Dr. Redacted attempted to infiltrate Site Redacted. The imposter was apprehended when authorities discovered the real Dr. Redacted tied up in his home, with a large portion of his right arm skinned. Further details may be found in Post-Interrogation Report 2211. Lab Report 34A. We've decided to test several scenarios dealing with the limits of SCP-34's capabilities. Test 1. Sample taken from deceased human cadaver and applied to subject D452. There is no observable effect. Test 2. Sample taken from D532 and applied to D452. D450 to successfully mimics D532's appearance. Upon termination of D532, D450 to immediately reverts back to original form. Test 3. Sample taken from D433 while under a medically induced coma and applied to subject D452. D450 to successfully mimics D433's appearance and manages to maintain the transformation and consciousness. Test 4. Sample taken from a brain-dead medical patient who suffered a massive brain hemorrhage and applied to D452. D450 to successfully mimics the patient's appearance but immediately loses consciousness upon transformation. D450 to does not regain consciousness until the transformation period expires. D450 to retains no memory of the event. Test 5. Sample taken from D625, who suffered a broken arm due to a confrontation with security staff. D450 to successfully mimics D625's appearance, including the broken arm. D452's broken arm is remended when the transformation period expires. Test 6. Sample taken from a terminally ill medical patient and applied to D452. The patient's terminal illness was caused by an inherent genetic defect, D450, to successfully mimics the patient's appearance as well as the patient's illness. Both the terminally ill patient and D450 to expire at the same time, after which D452 reverts back to original form. Test 7. Sample taken from a chimpanzee and applied to D466. D466 experiences rapid growth of hair across their entire body. There are otherwise no other significant physical or physiological changes. Body hair disappears when the transformation period expires. Test 8. Sample taken from an Atlantic salmon and applied to D466. There is no observable effect. Test 9. Under OFIV authorization, a sample taken from 𝑶𝒃𝒔𝒊𝒂𝒏 is applied to D466. D466 exhibits extremely adverse reaction upon transformation and data expunged, resulting in significant damage to testing environment, multiple injuries among test and security staff, and the death of D466. Testing of anomalous humanoids with �ＳCP-34 is suspended indefinitely. Post-interrogation report 2211